"I'll go first," Skye whispered, and on his hands and knees he crawled into the darkness. Storm held his breath. He expected the monstrous screams of the dragon and the death cries of Skye being torn to pieces any minute now. But everything was quiet. "Come," he heard Skye whisper. "The coast is clear, I think." Storm crawled under the shutter. It was pitch dark on the other side, but when he got up, he felt Skye's hand. "This way." Carefully keeping dead quiet, he shuffled behind him through the dark car wash. Slowly but surely, he began to distinguish the outlines of the machines and the greyness of the long-haired dolls and the blinking of small lights. And, oh! He stubbed his toe. "Shh!" Skye hissed again. But then Storm smelt something terrible, a really utterly disgusting smell. The smell of rotten things. "Oh," he said, a little too loudly, because immediately a horrifying scream sounded from behind the washing devices. "Run!" he cried, and he turned around and bumped into something. More roaring and growling buzzed around him, and the brushes swirled all over. Soapy water splashed down on him from all sides. He couldn't see a thing, and the floor became slippery under his feet. "Press that button over there!" Skye shouted. "Turn that thing off!" Storm felt his heart pounding. With both fists, he began to beat around him until he hit the button that turned off the washing machine. Water dripped from his hair and trickled down his neck. For a moment, there was complete silence. Then he heard a gurgling growl. The water hadn't spared the dragon either. "Come," Skye whispered. "We'll lure him into the office. Then we can lock him up." He stuck his fingers in his mouth and whistled. A shrill sound reverberated through the room, and the dragon roared back harshly. "Get out!" Skye shouted, and he grabbed Storm's soaked t-shirt. Together they ran deeper into the car wash, while the shrill cries of the dragon sounded behind them. Storm wished he could run faster, much, much faster, and also that he could hold his breath longer as the smell became almost unbearable. Skye suddenly stopped and opened the door. A light went on, and Storm saw a small room with a messy desk and lots of stuff lying around. They could hear behind them. Frightened, Storm jumped 2 feet up in the air. "Out of the way!" a dark voice ordered. It was the knight, who came galloping in with his flapping cloak and raised sword. The whole floor was shaking as he thundered past. The horse whinnied and snorted, and its mouth was foaming. And then it suddenly reared. With a loud metallic clatter, the knight tumbled in the ground. "Oh dear!" sounded from under the helmet when he tried to get up again. But because of his heavy armor and his helmet, which was now sitting backwards on his head, he once more landed on his chivalrous bottom. "Oh dear!" he muttered again. "Oh no, oh no, oh no!" Storm and Skye quickly walked towards him and helped him up, each hanging on one arm. Thank you," the knight muttered, and he straightened his helmet. "And now to battle." He took a few heavy steps forward, menacingly brandishing his sword. "Take this, dragon spawn!" And his armor clattered against the nearest machine. And again and again. Storm and Skye watched from a distance. Skye raised his eyebrows. "Will you tell him?" Hesitantly, Storm walked to the knight, who hit his sword against the metal beast with considerable noise. Sparks flew around. "Mr. Knight," he began, barely avoiding a stroke. "That is not a... Dragon!"